You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
The views and opinions expressed on GoPro Radio Network shows are solely those of the speakers and are not necessarily the views or opinions of GoPro Radio Network, Inc. or its affiliates. These broadcasts are provided on the understanding that they do not constitute professional advice or services. Individuals who speak on these broadcasts express their own opinions, experiences, and conclusions. GoPro Radio Networks and its affiliates do not necessarily endorse or oppose any particular opinion or conclusion discussed in these broadcasts. You may not edit or modify or redistribute these broadcasts in any way without the express permission from GoPro Radio, LLC. GoPro Radio assumes no liability for any of your activities in connection with our broadcast or for your use of these broadcasts in connection with your website, computer, smartphone, tablet, iPad, or future listening devices. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Neck pain. Back pain. Ouch. But now there's PillowMax, the new armrest pillow. PillowMax provides full arm and elbow support while driving. One size fits all.
PillowMax is the perfect remedy for neck, low back, and trap pains while traveling in your car. I recommend the PillowMax to all my patients.
PillowMax comes in black and white and has a machine washable cover.
PillowMax is awesome.
PillowMax. PillowMax.
Available at retailers worldwide.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, business, talent, and/or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 646-415-0990 or go to www.goproradio.com. That's www.goproradio.com. You'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right. Welcome, folks, from all over, wherever you are. This is the Tantrum Artist Management Show, and I'm just so super excited about today's show because of the guests. It's a personal and dear friend of mine. You guys, you don't want to go anywhere. Folks who are watching us on Facebook, if you want to join us in the room, we made it super easy for you to do. All you have to do is go to GoProRadio.com. It's www.goproradio.com. And just hit the live link button, and you'll come and be a part of the studio audience. You'll get to meet Jacqueline. You'll get to meet the People's Advocacy Brief. Sonny B. Sutherland's in the house. Dream, and of course, the guest of honor, Briian Dargon, is in the house. So it's going to be a really cool and robust conversation. You're going to learn a lot. So, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell somebody. That's right, a foe, because they may end up being your friend after watching this program because they're going to learn so much. And that's what this show is all about, folks. We're about educating folks and letting people know that we are here to provide you a little guidance, And by the way, folks who are on Facebook, welcome to the Tantrum Artist Management Show, a one-of-a-kind artist management show that caters to emerging artists, talents seeking independence in their creative journey. In a world where artistic expression knows no bounds, this show stands out by empowering artists with the tools and knowledge to navigate the complex landscape of imagination, production, marketing, and strategic positioning. It's not just a show, it's a comprehensive roadmap, if you will, for artists ready to take charge of their destiny and foster a community where creativity meets strategic prowess. Get ready to be inspired, because this is going to be one of the most inspiring shows we've done in a minute. And each episode of the Tantrum Artist Management Show is an interactive journey. So you can actually interact and engage by going to GoProRadio.com, being a part of the audience, and raise that hand, or you can ask your question in the chat, okay? So right now we're going to be exploring all kinds of process and norms, and we're going to be pushing back and offering valuable insights. You know, whether you're a musician, a filmmaker, someone in fashion, and we have someone who covers all those bases here today. So you don't want to miss this show. And let me introduce my co-host, my co-pilot, Dreamcast Mick Superfly. We got to change that to Superfly, because this is not regular fly. Today is the last day of April. And I'm still celebrating. My birthday was April 24th, so I think I have another day too, because I celebrate a birthday week. Sonny says that we shouldn't celebrate birthdays. He has a really unique perspective, like we counting down to our demise. Did I say that right, Sonny? That's Sonny B. Sutherland from the People's Advocacy Group, and he's also has a show on our network called I Ain't Having It, and it comes on every Thursday between the hours of 10 to midnight. Now, it's an adult show for people who aren't what do you call it, super hypersensitive, because he might hurt your feelings. I think he's hurt a lot of feelings lately. But anyway, I digress. Well, let's get into it. How our show happens typically. What do we do? Dream first. We do the mailbox, right?
Yeah, we're going to
people
do some
send us
mail.
questions, and folks, keep the questions coming. We love it. We love the questions. We like to be engaged, and thank you for helping us grow. Our numbers are growing all because of you. So spread the word, and the questions are really good questions too. But what I want to do is something a little bit different. We usually, do the questions first, if I may, Dream, with your permission. What I like to do is I would like to include Brian in some of the questions that we got.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I want to flip it. So I want to interview Brian. And Brian, can you hang out and answer some of the questions that comes in during the week? Because we got a real expert. I mean, this guy is brilliant, a genius, a long time friend. How many years have we known each other? It has to be almost 30 years. And he looks like 32, right?
Damn.
Yeah.
What?
You know, I noticed, Brian, because I still have that video of him with my daughter, who was then young, like she was probably like one, not even one, and he was doing the dance, and she did a little flip. But I don't know, this is like a little private thing. But before we get into our story, I got to tell you that today I had like one of my vanity fits, and I was like, man, this guy looks great. I haven't seen him in a long time. So I went to a little place and tried to get hooked up, and Jacqueline was like, dude, just use a filter. I was like, I look horrible. I got to get myself together. And they put these little gold, I forgot what it was. They put these little things, and they took them off. They said, see the difference? I was like, very little. So I just shaved. It is what it is. Some people get older gracefully, and he has a lot of grace. I'm not going to tell you his age, but he looks terrific for whatever those numbers are. And I need to get some of his secrets. And Dream had this little rolling thing. I think I'm gonna get hooked up with that. So I got to knock Dream. I got to knock down some of these bags. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into the show, because I don't want to. You know me, I take a lot of oxygen out of the room from time to time.
I'll send you the Amazon link.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need you to be like, hey, so. First, let me do a proper introduction of my good friend and his very special guest. I've known him for many, many years. Besides all his accolades, let me tell you, he's a good person. He's a decent human being, and that's rare, particularly in the entertainment business where it's all this, and I think rightfully, it's a lot of shyster and it's a lot of getting over and a lot of that kind of stuff. he is probably one of the most genuine, authentic people I've met in the entertainment industry, and I mean that. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce this multi-hyphenated Briian Dargon. He's a music industry veteran who has worked for SONY, RCA. He didn't put Warlock on there, but I know Warlock, which is part of Atlantic, Red Distribution, Notation Music Publishing, and so many others. We would be here for quite a long time talking about the different record companies that he's worked for. Right. He's also been in fashion, very deep. Still is. His fashion designs, his work has been featured in publications such as Japanese Vogue, TimeOut New York, Beyond Race, the Source magazine, Click, and other magazines and blogs internationally. He's worked on several wardrobe styling projects. And Briian is also an actor who's appeared in several films and commercials. He's the founder of the Joan L. Dargon Foundation, which helps to create conversations around various forms of cancer and takes the fear out of early detection screening. Welcome. Oh, by the way, too, Toxic, which is a movie that he has produced and put together, is out now, right, Briian? Can we get that now? You got to unmute. Yeah, you're muted. Yeah, but he's into film, so we're going to be able to talk about film, his music. We're going to be able to talk about it all, folks. And if you have questions, folks, on Facebook, please put them in the chat. We'll get to the chat and we'll ask Briian the questions for you, okay? And folks who are in the room, if you have a question, comment, or concern, please utilize the chat. I know everybody, since the pandemic, know how to use this Zoom and ask questions. So well, let's get it going. First, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna have to ask him to unmute because I want to ask the first question. Right, I want to just catch up. First, how have you been? Because we really didn't. Matter of fact, when we talked about doing the show, we said I didn't want to, go too deep into what's been going on because I wanted to save it for the program. Because sometimes when as the host and producer, then you forget to ask the question because you already had the conversation. So, how's it been? What have you been up to?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. That was a great introduction. I really appreciate it. And I mean, I've been out here like everyone else, just doing the work, rolling up my sleeves, getting a little dirty and doing the work and producing some projects and, making it happen. Yeah.
Now, as a producer, right, this is one of the questions that I have. Is it ever a challenge, like working with directors and coming out with that vision? What is it like with you working with directors? Because you've produced like 3 films, right? Or 4. Am I right? Did I do my homework?
3 so far, yeah.
3, okay.
Going on 4.
Okay.
Working with directors, I have been fortunate enough to work with, I think, one of the best directors probably anywhere in regards to independent film, Ethan X. Evans.
I thought you were working with me. I'm a director. So, I'm just...
It goes without saying, Ty, that you're one of the best. You're visionary. But yeah, work here in Richmond, though, working with, in regards to directors,
right.
I've worked with Ethan X. Evans, and he's becoming one of the premier directors of any project that he's attached to, like shorts, documentaries, full-length features. Richmond is I just want to say this too. Aside from the director aspect of it, the executive producer, the writers of the projects that I've worked on, they too are visionaries, and they are really changing the landscape of Richmond filmmaking, or the South, filmmaking in the South. Eric Brown, Robert Brown, no relation. they are really changing the landscape here. And so I feel really fortunate that I've been able to connect with them and work with them.
That's great. I got a notation from Jacqueline. She said, "Slow it down. I want to know more about." Okay, all right. So, thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
She wanted to know more about you. Yeah, I guess before you got into film, so we got to go back to your music life.
Okay.
And sometimes when I'm on the show, I tell people don't know I had a music life. You know that? People say,
Yeah.
"You're in the music industry." Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure how we were gonna touch on that, but I do, and I don't know if I've ever done it, but I really wanted to thank you for opening your home to me when you were the president of Black Wax Records. Is Black Wax still around?
That's right. Black Wax Recordings. That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, you going way back.
Yeah, so that was before Warlock, actually.
Wow, that's right.
And a lot of people don't know this, but I was homeless, and you opened your home to me and allowed me to sleep and eat under your roof. And I worked with Black Wax, and that was the precipice, I guess, for me moving forward into Warlock and then to some of the other labels that I work for. Watching you and your work ethic. Really
I'm trying not to tear up here.
It really kind of cemented me moving forward in terms of how I was going to move, and being a forever student, listening to you, and then moving into other situations, and taking advantage of all the lessons that all these other situations allowed me to have, has put me in the place that I am in today.
Wow. Well,
I really appreciate it. But yes,
I appreciate the acknowledgement. I didn't know you was going to go there because now I'm choking up a little bit. Thank you.
No, it's well deserved.
Now, I gotta say, honestly, I didn't know you were gonna, share that. But that was one of the best, I think, decisions I've ever made in my entire life, besides having my children, right? Having you there, because I'm gonna be honest, guys, when he was there, if you've ever, and I've let folks in my home, especially during Katrina, I remember letting folks live with me. I really felt like I lost a relative when he left. Most people, you can't wait when they come stay with you. You're like, I can't wait till this person leave. Oh man, now he's eating the food. Oh, it was just such a delight. It was so wonderful, and he was such a major contributor to the fabric of Black Wax at that time, the independent label struggling with its identity internally and externally, struggling with trying to put out positive music at a time when everything was like super negative. And Brian was, I felt fortunate really to be in his centrifugal force of just beauty, vision, positivity, getting it done. He really, I think, at the same time, to be honest, motivated me. A lot of times when I felt like just packing it up, packing it in, and he pushed. Remember the buddy pass, and we going out to these seminars and all that, and just really being super accommodating. And then you actually opened your home to us at Black Wax when we went out to this seminar. And we didn't. The hotel reservation got messed up. Brian made a couple. This guy's incredibly resourceful. He made a couple of phone calls, and we were staying somewhere with, I think, Dawood, right? Like his brother. So we had a roof over our head, and he took us to SONY. This is the guy that I was telling you about. It took us to this restaurant. They had all this food. You pay one thing, and they had like all the. What is the name of that place? But he hooked us up with like inexpensive food, and just this guy is a wealth of resources. It's like incredible. I mean, so I'm telling you, although you say I opened up my home to you, I think you opened your heart to us, and you will forever be there. Because when he left, I was like, oh dang. Really, you were just great and a real asset, and I think a permanent part of the fabric that was Black Wax. So, okay, so we're there with the music industry, and then you were at Warlock. And tell people some of the other places and spaces you've been in, and some of the people in the industry whose lives you've touched and connected.
Yeah, so I worked at Notation Music Publishing. I have a credit on Rosie O'Donnell's Christmas album.
Whoa.
We had that's when we had Jennifer Lopez, we had Celine Dion,
Wow.
Incredible voice.
a couple of other major acts. That was the publishing company though, but I worked for Warlock doing publicity and marketing. I worked for Sony's gospel label.
What was that like?
It was interesting. It was interesting. We had Iyanla Van Zant's spoken word album, and we had Howard Hewitt. We had a couple of well-known gospel artists on that label as well.
What band was Howard? He was part of a group, wasn't
He
he?
was part of Shalimar.
Shalimar, right, with Jody Whiteley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right.
And again, in every situation that I've been in, there have been so many lessons learned. And I just, every situation that I'm in, I absorb, in one way or another. And so, I worked for RCA a little bit, and left the music industry probably in I was also an artist, a recording artist, in an R&B pop group called Voicemail.
What?
Yeah.
This man has lived many lives.
Yeah.
I know. This guy is, I'm telling you, folks who are listening, you are really giving a real treat for somebody who was not only a jack of all trades, but he did everything very well. And that's one thing about you, Brian. Whenever you do something, you do it, you give it your 110%. And that's very hard and that's very rare. So let's go from your music to your fashion, which is awesome. And by the way, he gave my daughter her first shot at modeling, and she loves it. She talks about it all the time. Her birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Tati's birthday is tomorrow.
Man.
We're a cluster of Taurus. Like my birthday's first, and then it's
Yeah.
me, and then it's my other
Then
daughter.
my birthday's on Friday.
Oh, Taurus in the house. So
I'm taking over.
Yeah, so again, the fashion, I mean, there's so many highs and lows in life. Life be life in a lot of times, right? So there was another period where in 2001, I was on my way to a publishing company, a book publishing company that I was working at the Towers. Everybody knows the Towers came down. We lost connection. I wind up being jobless and homeless again. And I was literally sleeping on my cousin's floor. And my other cousin asked me to go to a party. And I was like, not in the headspace to party or whatever. And back then you wanted to kind of be fashionable too. You wanted to show up and, have something nice on. And I didn't have any money to buy anything. So I took one t-shirt and I cut the letters out that said, I made this t-shirt, and I sewed them onto another t-shirt. And I wore that to the party. And people were complimenting me on the t-shirt, and they were like, "Oh, I like your t-shirt. Do you make them?" And I was like, "Make them." And they were like, "Oh, if you make me one, I'll pay you." And I was like, "Pay me."
That sounds good.
And so I was like, "Yeah, I make t-shirts. Yeah." And really had no idea. And I was so consumed with the money initially. Like, I don't really think the product or the quality was good. And then when I really started to buckle down and really take it seriously as a business, I started focusing more on the quality. And kind of went into business. And 3 years late, so that was 2001. 2004, I got my first spread in Japanese Vogue. In the September issue of Japanese Vogue.
Wow.
And then magazines were like calling and coming at me hard for a minute.
Good.
Artists wanted to use a lot of the stuff. I have some stuff in a film.
Do you have
Inevitable, pictures? I think the film was called The Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete.
Wow.
With Jennifer Hudson. So I think that was my first placement in terms of the clothing in that film.
Wow. Look, if anyone wants, you can also, like I said earlier, put your questions in the chat, because you don't have to text it to me, because then I got to look down. But folks, there are folks who are watching on Facebook. There are folks. Hello, Michelle Weir. I don't know if you remember her. Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for watching. Hi, Tyona, my twin. I have a twin sister, by the way. And I had the good fortune of being born with my best friend. And so she's on, and she's giving you hearts and love. She remembers you.
I remember her too.
You remember her?
Of course.
So she says you're looking good there. Let's go now from, okay, so he's been in the music industry, solid. He's been in the music industry. He's been in the fashion, tremendous success in the fashion industry. Now let's go into the movie business.
Yes.
What made you?
So,
What? I mean, you got. I'm a filmmaker now, and I think you have to be an insane person to be in this industry. Yeah, something has to be fundamentally off. Because you're dealing with so many people, so many personalities. There's so much pressure. There's deadlines, and I know you, Brian. You must be losing yourself, because Brian is a person who has extremely high self-expectations, and he passes that on to others, and other people find those expectations very difficult to contradict. So, I know in the world of film that you're in right now, are you losing your stuff?
if I'm completely honest, I've had moments, but I always think of the bigger, pardon the pun, picture. There's a goal, an end goal to get the product finished, and so that's what the real focus is.
Right.
And so in any situation, not just film, but any situation, you're going to meet people, right? And you're not necessarily going to vibe with them,
right?
But that's okay, right? Because the bigger picture is the picture,
right?
And getting that done,
right? Okay.
I've been fortunate though in this, and since I've been back in Virginia, I've been fortunate to work with people where I haven't really had to pull my hair out in situations, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, we're going to hear a little bit more about that. And speaking of bigger pictures, we have to pay some bills, but don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You're tuned into the proper place. This is the Tantrum Artist Management Show. My name is Tyline Xavier Washington, along with
Dreamcast McFly.
And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Potential. Everyone's got potential, right? But it will remain just that unless you act on it. You've got to do something new.
You got this.
To get somewhere new.
Let me see. Have a look.
Is it scary?
Be fine.
Sure. But potential never fades. It simply waits for the day you use it. So go on, make that one day today.
Whether you're growing your business,
okay, can we take our seats, please?
Switching careers, or just starting out, it all starts with skills. Search Skills for Life.
The views and opinions expressed on GoPro Radio Network shows are solely those of the speakers and are not necessarily the views or opinions of GoPro Radio Network, Inc. or its affiliates. These broadcasts are provided on the understanding that they do not constitute professional advice or services. Individuals who speak on these broadcasts express their own opinions, experiences, and conclusions. GoPro Radio Networks and its affiliates do not necessarily endorse or oppose any particular opinion or conclusion discussed in these broadcasts. You may not edit or modify or redistribute these broadcasts in any way without the express permission from GoPro Radio, LLC. GoPro Radio assumes no liability for any of your activities in connection with our broadcast, or for your use of these broadcasts in connection with your website, computer, smartphone, tablet, iPad, or future listening devices. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Neck pain. Back pain. Ouch! But now there's PillowMax, the new armrest pillow. PillowMax provides full arm and elbow support while driving. One size fits all.
PillowMax is the perfect remedy for neck, low back, and trap pains while traveling in your car. I recommend the PillowMax to all my patients.
PillowMax comes in black and white and has a machine washable cover.
PillowMax is awesome.
PillowMax. PillowMax.
Available at retailers worldwide.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Okay, we are back. We are black, and this is the Tantrum Artist Management Show. I'm Tyler Xavier Washington, along with
Greencasper Fly. You already know what it is.
Yes, and we have a very, very special guest, someone who's near and dear to me, to my heart, longtime friend and associate, Mr. Briian Dargon, who had a lengthy career in music, fashion, and film. Now, do you, the fact that you've had such a stellar, career in all these different genres, do you, and this may sound a little sophomore, do you combine all of those experiences to, make these films? And then let's talk about the first film, and then the second one, and the film that the third one, and then the one that you're currently working on.
Yeah, do I combine all of the, I think having knowledge, sometimes when you're having these pre-production meetings and stuff, you're able to add to the conversation because you've had these experiences. But there are specific people who are doing specific things, and if information is needed or resources are needed, if I'm asked, then I contribute that. But I typically do not step on other people's toes. I allow them to do what it is they do and expect the same in regards to what I'm doing.
Okay, so let's talk about the first film project. And how did you get introduced to filmmaking? There's something that you started, or someone said, hey, I'm working on the film, and will you help me? How did that happen?
So it really came about through acting, auditioning, meeting people. I was taking acting classes actually, and was plucked out of my class to play Detective Simeon in a film. And I guess I can go back a little further than that, a lot further than that. When I was 10 years old, I was at my grandmother's in New York, and I was reading the paper. Yeah, I was reading the paper at 10. And there was an audition, a casting for the new Mickey Mouse Club. You could not tell me that I was not supposed to be on the new Mickey Mouse Club. So I asked my grandmother if I could go. She was like, no. And I literally took the bus to the offices for the audition. And I was sitting there, they called my name, and they're like, oh, well, where's your parent? And I'm like, parent? They're like, where's, your guardian? And I'm like, oh, I came by myself. And they were like, oh, you can't be here. So I obviously didn't get that, but I got home and my grandmother had found out that I had gone and tore me up. And so typically that would be a deterrent, and it was a deterrent for a couple of years, but eventually I started taking acting classes. I got my first film role. And then again, subsequently stuff just kind of started coming in, like commercials, other film roles. I did a lot of extra work. And moved back to Virginia in 2018 and connected with this gentleman named Rob Brown of of RBJ Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And his film Red Kool-Aid, I participated in as an extra, but he and I had conversation while we were filming, and when he wrote his next project, which we just had the premiere for Saturday, Double Blended, I came on as a producer. Subsequently, while filming Red Kool-Aid, I met Eric Brown. He is the executive producer of Cinnamon Brown Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. And they're not related. The Browns aren't.
They're not related, no. But he had written a short film called Cuffed.
Mm-hmm.
And asked me to be a producer on that film.
Mm-hmm.
Subsequently, that film has now, they submitted it to Cannes Film Festival in France, and we actually won just recently. We won in our category.
Oh, fantastic. Whoa!
Yeah.
Folks, that is huge. That's not a small accomplishment, because last year I won 2 awards at Cannes Film Festival for Best Short 2D. Yeah, and that's hard. I mean, people don't know when you're at Cannes, just, you know what, to be accepted, you know, you would just, I was elated. I was telling everybody, hey, my film was
just being nominated
in the Cannes.
is crazy.
Absolutely.
So, exactly. So to win, wow, you blowing me away.
And I think my mouth hung open for like 3 days or something, because I was just like, what?
Is this really happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And so Double Blended just premiered on Saturday.
Check that
Red
out.
Kool-Aid is on Tubi and Amazon Prime. I have another premiere coming up with Eric Brown on June 8th. This one is called Toxic, and it is a phenomenal film. And not just because I worked on it, but it really is, you know, the thing about independent.
Just say it's because you worked on it.
Of
this
course.
guy's so humble.
You know?
Yeah, you know, I'm telling you, because he holds people to very high expectations, including me. Like, he worked with me. He was like, hey, no, Tyler, but it could look better if you do it this way. I just don't let it go. I don't know if you remember that. And he was a bit of a, like, you know, when you call that one of those people that like detail oriented. He saw things that I just couldn't see. Yeah, and this was before Grammarly, you know, all these apps that help you out, chat. He was like the human chat. Like, he had so much information and resources that I'm quite sure the success of these films, they need to lay squarely at your feet. I'm not saying other people aren't talented. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying other people didn't contribute and other people aren't excellent. But me knowing who you are and your expectation level on things that you want to present and you put your name on it, I know that it has to be 110%. And I think that's why that one, because it's always those little differences between one film, a good film and a great film.
Let me tell you though, I feel really fortunate to have been on these projects, because when I say it was a team effort, it was honestly a team effort. Everybody had the same vision and the same goal, and everybody wanted to make sure that these films were perfect. And I think we achieved that. I am super excited about the project that we just debuted. And then Toxic is coming up, like I said, on June 8th. And we are introducing some very talented, some very new actors to the project. We have, so there are 3 leads. Can I talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so there are the 3 leads. Lenexa Neal, Joy Brewer, and we're introducing Salih Muhammad.
Okay.
And I mean, the whole cast is crazy, like amazing. So I'm just really hyped and excited about it, and I feel lucky and fortunate that I get to say that, because you know, a lot of times you can work on things and you're like, oh,
it didn't come out,
you know, or you don't say anything.
Actually, Brian, I actually like working with new talent. You know why? Because a lot of times when you see these actors that are prominent and known, even B-lister actors, you kind of have to work around their already established kind of what do you call that? their image, their you know the roles that they play. So it's every time I see, you know, I don't know Denzel Washington, I say, oh, Denzel is playing, you know, the guy who's the equalizer. You can't get past their stardom, and sometimes you get a little bit more into the product or into the narrative when it's somebody that's fresh, that you have to take them for where they are. So I think it's, and plus I think it's just awesome that you're giving people real opportunities. I think anybody who get a chance to work with you, they're working with a serious production person who has excellence at the height of everything that he does, and that actually betters everyone's chances of being successful and having a long-term career. Would you agree?
I appreciate you saying that, but I agree, and I think what also the other thing I love about it is new people bring in this energy.
Yes,
you know, they haven't had enough experiences yet to be so jaded.
True.
And it makes it easier to kind of mold them into and help them understand what their characters are and mold them into those characters. And I think they feel joyful to be in that position. You know, and I think because of that, a lot of times you get a great product because of that, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly. Well, I want to also acknowledge some folks, not only on Facebook, people who are actually in the room. And folks, if you want to join the conversation, we made it really easy and fast. All you have to do is go to GoProRadio.com. Just click on the live button, and you're going to go right into the room. It's that easy. It's that simple. But I want to acknowledge
check us out on the Facebook Live, you know?
Yeah.
And please, don't be shy.
That's right.
Give us a comment, question, anything that you need us to slow down on. Don't be shy.
That's right, because I could go. People don't know. I can go. So I want to acknowledge Tynella Hall is in the house. Let's give it up for Tynella. Come on, everybody. Yeah. Venus is in the house. Hi, Venus. Woo. Sharon Tolliver is in the house. Woo. Lanice Caldwell is in the house. Yeah. Jacqueline Banner. Oh, yeah. Sonny B. Sutherland Sr. He's in the house. And folks, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the microphones. We always give courtesy to the people who are here first. And then we're going to go to the online questions. And you'll have a unique opportunity today to actually talk to Briian Dargon. He is here. He is in the house. He is ready to go. And let me tell you, this guy is a treasure trove of information. All right. So this is a real opportunity to talk to someone who knows. He's been in the music industry. I can vouch for that. He's been in the fashion industry. I can absolutely vouch for that. He provided a wonderful opportunity for my daughter, who she never forgets. And now he's in the film industry. And I'm telling you, all of his art, you're going to be immortalized, man. I'm telling you, all the stuff that you've done. People are going to look back and say, who was this guy who did all this incredible work? But here's an opportunity to ask a question, make a comment, express a concern. But we're going to take questions first from folks who are in the room. Dream, if you have a question, comment, or concern, the microphones are now open. Go ahead.
That's cool.
Okay.
Well,
you guys should be able to unmute yourselves. Any questions? Because if not, we'll go right to the. If you guys are shy, we'll go right to the questions that.
Dude, I do have questions.
Okay.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Ooh, okay.
I don't have a question. I just want to say congratulations, cousin. Oh my God.
Hey, cousin.
I'm so proud of you. And to the host, I'm also proud of you too. I'm proud of anyone that's doing anything great. You know, we manifested this since we were little, like, and it's finally happening. You knew, I like I said, just God bless you. That's all I really wanted to say. And anybody that if you do have a good question for him, as far as style, fashion, this man right here will build you up. I know from personal experience because he built me as an artist. And, you know, as far, seriously, he's taking all my pictures and everything.
He's right. Yeah.
So look, that's my cousin, and she is a phenomenal singer. Lanice Caldwell, I'm just telling you, she
okay,
is
okay.
phenomenal.
We got to talk. We got to talk. We got to
Yeah.
talk. We got to do
Cool,
some things.
Cool.
Yeah. Hi.
Tanisha.
Hi, Ty. Tynella. Did I pronounce your name right?
You actually did. You said it right. I was like, oh my.
First
I
try.
love the Ty part. The ties.
I just wanted to get on here and say, Brian, you are amazing. I am very fortunate to have you in my life at this point. And I couldn't wait. Like I had the timer set just so I could be on here to listen. Just so I could be on here to listen. And in case y'all don't know, because he could see it, but I want y'all to see an original of Brian's. It's one of his art pieces hanging in my house.
Nice. Okay. Can you explain that piece? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes.
Go ahead, Brian.
So
go ahead, Brian.
Ty is the owner, founder. Her and her husband Reggie are the owner and founder of T&R Catering.
All right. T&R.
T&R Catering. But
put it in the chat too, so because we want people to promote these businesses. We don't want it to be a one-off. We want to really help.
So they're the owners of T&R Catering, and I met them on the short film Cuff. And when I tell you, like, I'm a funny eater, I'm a picky eater. Not only do they prepare food, but they educate you on the food that you're eating. They're conscious of allergies. They're conscious of like holistic versus processed. And the food is delicious. And I mean, it's so good. Like it literally had me at times waiting at the door for them to arrive.
What's the name of the company again?
T&R Catering.
T&R, okay.
Yeah, I mean, just phenomenal. And on top of that, they are some of the most beautiful people I have ever met. Just funny. And I'm waiting for Ty's book because she has so many stories that will have you cracking up. And just really, really good people. So, of course, I connected to them right away. And now they're family.
Wow. Well, since they're part of your family, they're part of my family. Matter of fact, this show is sponsored in part by T&R Catering. Get the best food from the best people.
Absolutely.
T&R. That's right. That's right. We're bringing this community together. Thank you so much, Tynella, for being here and saying those very wonderful and positive words about Brian. Brian, that artwork, I have to have a piece now. I got to get a piece of your art somewhere. Where's it at? Do I have to go to an audition at Sotheby's? What I have to do to get a piece of your artwork?
From your mouth to the universe's ears.
You know, I'm telling you, I got to have a piece when people, come by and say, yeah, this is a Dargon 2024. All right. Let's go to some of the questions because we got quite a few questions on. Unless anybody else has a question, it doesn't have to be a question. You can make a comment. It could be a concern that you have. You can speak now.
I mean, you're definitely an inspirational brother. I'm going to tap in with you after the show.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
One more thing, cuz now it's time to put that club movie out, you know?
Oh.
He had a club movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta. Here we go. Caitlin says, fire. She puts out just a lot of fire hearts. You have a lot of really good compliments there on Facebook. Folks, thanks for watching us on Facebook. Be sure to like and share. I mean, you could do that. That's costs nothing, but maybe a little bit of energy with your finger. just click, put like, and then definitely share it. So I don't use any of those algorithms. I don't pay to promote. Our growth is organic, and I got to tell you, this is one of the fastest growing shows, and I think it's a lot of utility. People find usefulness in sharing ideas and experiences to help them find their way in sometimes a very complex industry. You find that there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and you need to be part of this community. You need to be a part of the Tantrum Artist Management Show. And we encourage. We there's no problem with people. We leave our chat open so you guys can exchange telephone numbers and information because it's all about community. And we want to do away with the middleman if we could, and that we have an energy of independence. We're not trying to get people deals and all that. We want people to recognize that we are the power, right? We are all that we need to be excellent, to put things out, to do it. And I think Brian actually personifies just that stick-to-itness, that ability to achieve things, going beyond. There are no boundaries, and pushing that envelope. And I'm just super proud of you, Brian. I'm telling you, you are just like my idea of what independent artists ought to be. So let's get to this question. This guy says, his name is The Dude Freeman. It says, in your experience, what key qualities or skills are essential for succeeding in the record industry, but beyond technical proficiency? You want to take that? You want to help him out, Brian? You want to help out the Dude Freeman?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the things is attention, like paying attention and asking questions and releasing any ego that you might have. A lot of times people come into the industry and because they feel chosen, they develop.
Hear that a lot.
Yeah, they feel like they develop egos. And I'm like, egos are so unimportant in a place like the music industry because you're only as good as the last thing you've done. And just as quickly as they brought you on, they will let you go.
You hear that? Can you say that again? Can I get a hey, man?
Hey, man, from the phone, great.
Yeah, so I think humbleness goes a lot further than ego. I think paying attention, asking questions, putting yourself in positions where people see you. Not necessarily not stepping on other people's toes because everybody feels important. And just kind of navigating your way, not diminishing your gifts, not diminishing who you are, but knowing when to allow that light to shine and people will see you.
Oh man, those are some real jewels. I hope people had their smart devices out or their pencil and pad out and jot down those very important notes. Let's go to the next question. Dream, you want to go? You want to go, and then I'll do the next question.
For sure. We got a question. We got a question from Modius, and he was literally just asking me about he's a producer. He's asking me about licensing his beats. Now this is a good one. This is a good one. I don't personally make beats. Is this anything that you guys could answer?
He should probably get with like his publishing company. If he has a publishing company, they could help him out in terms of licensing.
And if he doesn't have one, start one.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's at in his level. But also, there's great organizations. I wouldn't say there's issues, I'm sorry, I have with the other brand names, but I think CSAC is halfway decent.
Yeah.
They do a lot of showcasing, and you can get to know them a little bit more than because the other ones they're huge, and you're going to feel a sense of being warehoused at these larger entities, and you won't get that specialized attention. So I would say go to a smaller boutique, I would say publishing companies, start your own, and perhaps partner with someone who that is their passion too. I'm into helping independent people start their companies, and they may be looking for a producer or someone who just loves to create music and songs, and they love to be able to protect and secure your interests in these intellectual properties. So also that's another way to go. If you don't have a publishing company, start one and partner with people. Share the wealth, share the joy in the music.
Yeah, I definitely advocate creating your own publishing company. get all of your ducks in a row legally, and because it makes it difficult, a little more difficult for people to like take your property.
Yeah. So, well, guys, we got to pay bills. When we come back, we can take maybe a couple of more questions in our last half an hour. But folks who are watching us on Facebook, you can join the room if you will. You could submit your question in the chat. You can also, send us a question and post, because, this show will be archived and people, I know they're going to have questions. You can send your questions to info@goproradio.com, info@goproradio.com, and we'll get back to you, and we'll try to answer the questions best as we can. All right, we're building a family, we're building a community here, and we want you to be a part of it. All right, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Tantrum Artist Management Show. I am Tyler Xavier Washington with
Dreamcast McFly,
and we'll be back.
Content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
The views and opinions expressed on GoPro Radio Network shows are solely those of the speakers and are not necessarily the views or opinions of GoPro Radio Network, Inc. or its affiliates. These broadcasts are provided on the understanding that they do not constitute professional advice or services. Individuals who speak on these broadcasts express their own opinions, experiences, and conclusions. GoPro Radio Networks and its affiliates do not necessarily endorse or oppose any particular opinion or conclusion discussed in these broadcasts. You may not edit or modify or redistribute these broadcasts in any way without the express permission from GoPro Radio, LLC. GoPro Radio assumes no liability for any of your activities in connection with our broadcasts or for your use of these broadcasts in connection with your website, computer, smartphone, tablet, iPad, or future listening devices. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Neck pain. Back pain. Ouch. But now there's PillowMax, the new armrest pillow. PillowMax provides full arm and elbow support while driving. One size fits all.
PillowMax is the perfect remedy for neck, low back, and trap pains while traveling in your car. I recommend the PillowMax to all my patients.
PillowMax comes in black and white and has a machine washable cover.
PillowMax is awesome.
PillowMax. PillowMax.
Available at retailers worldwide.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Hey! Tell Kevin we need to redo this wall!
We have to demo it all! The electricians won't play ball!
Redesign the hall?
I'll tell Nathaniel. Material recall. Okie dokie. They're gonna fire Paul. What did I do? Make it 3 feet tall! 3 meatballs? Fire the directing wall!
Yeah, the pipe's too small!
Recall!
Hexagonal!
Horizontal?
Greg! Greg! We need to install
a waterfall.
Cool waterfall.
Be on the same page at every stage with Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Where's Paul?
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right. Okay. So we're back, and this is the Tantrum Artist Management Show. Thank you, guys. We're in the last half hour. Man, time goes by too fast. In hindsight, Brian, I think we probably should have had you come like over maybe 3 weeks. Like just 1 week just dealing with your music side, another week to fashion and the art and then the crescendo with the film industry, because it just went by. It felt like I just asked a couple of questions. I feel robbed. You know, we're already up to the last hour. Well, folks, there's still time, I guess, for you to submit your questions in the comment section or whatever. But let's go to the next question. I'm not going to be, taking out this oxygen. All right, here's a question from a Divine Nine. I know who that is. All right, he goes, all right. In your opinion, what separates good filmmakers from great filmmakers?
Vision. I think a lot of times people don't trust themselves enough to realize the full vision of their projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you can get, I'll never say mediocre, and I think that's a little disrespectful, but I think people sometimes are afraid to push the boundary to make their good film better or greater.
Mm.
Then sometimes I think sometimes there's, when there's ego involved,
right?
You're not going to have the best product that you could have,
right?
Because you're in your own way,
right?
I
wanted to ask you. I didn't want to cut you off because I want you to finish that thought. Do you feel like it's sometimes, and this is me adding on, that time has a lot to do with the end product? Because for me, looking at my work, and I'm always like, oh, I wish I had more time, I would do this different. Do you ever feel that way, like, oh, but we just got to let this go?
You know what? I think unless you have investors or funding, like, who's really putting you on the time constraint?
Right.
So if you're doing it by yourself, you have the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have the time to kind of look at the project, look at the product, and go, I don't know okay, so sometimes there's a financial equation because it costs money to reshoot or to shoot for extra days or whatever. And so that might be a factor. But if you have those things in place, people are only going to know about the product once you commit to releasing that information.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, you have the time to look it over, double, triple, quadruple check, look at it like from start to finish and say, am I happy with this? Is this what I want? Is this the story I'm trying to tell? Did I get everything I need? So yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to definitely get to Jacqueline's questions because she says I always look up, but Jacqueline Banner, who says she wants to know, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start for the very first time their career in movie making?
I guess my advice would be to start. My mom used to say, you've already failed if you don't try.
Wow. I'm writing that one down. That's a good one. Your mother was a wise woman.
Yeah, it's something I carry around with me all the time. And what I mean by that is sometimes people think, oh, if I want to buy a camera, it's got to be $5,000 camera.
Yep.
No, it can be a disposable camera because it's not about the camera, it's about your eye. What is it that you're trying to capture? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, and a lot of times people are in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're not being pat on the back or rubbed on the head, or they don't have somebody to qualify them, they don't start. And then if you're supporting it initially and then you stop supporting it, the person who has the dream also stops dreaming because they're looking at other people to dream for them.
Well, see, this is why he gets the big bucks, guys. He's dropping these jewels today. Man, okay. So a dream it's your turn to go to your feed. Man, that's good. I like this one though. You already failed, guys, if you don't try. By Mama Dargon.
That was powerful. All right, we got a question from King, and he's asking how to get more acting roles.
Some of it is luck. Some of it is skill. Like, you have to develop the skill. A lot of people show up because they think they're attractive enough. And for some some producers, some writers, some directors, sometimes that is good enough. But if you want to make it a career, I always advise people to study. And there are classes that are expensive. There are low financially, like small amounts of money that you can take classes here and there. It doesn't necessarily have to be consistent. There are books. You can learn different techniques from different books, find out what works for you in terms of what kind of actor you want to be. Practice, 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 and show up, because they don't know you exist if you don't show up. And sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for until you show up. I tell this little joke all the time that it's not a joke, it's a real thing, but there was a casting notice and it was looking for an Asian woman with green eyes and triplets, right? And so I went to the audition. And I walked in and they're looking at me like, did you read the casting notice? And I'm like, yeah, I read it. But what I know is sometimes if I'm not right for that role, you might have a role for me. I got a stage play like that. This woman was casting for younger people. And I said, look, I'm a person of a certain age. But if you have a role for me, I would love to be a part of your cast. And she was like, come in. And that's how I got this theater role. So you have to participate in the thing that you say you want.
Right.
It's not going to come to you. They no longer pick people out of the soda shop.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
you have to be in it if it's what you say you want.
Oh, wow. All right. So let's go to the next question. I'm trying to get to as many questions as possible, folks. This is from Joyce Henry, and this is off of Facebook. How do you handle constructive criticism, even though it's hurtful, and feedback on your films?
I think, especially as an independent producer, director, writer, whatever, I think the criticism is necessary. Because, let's face it, I mean, you're trying to grow in the thing that you love in your craft. And how do you do that without... Of course, like, okay, you want the accolades, you may get accolades, but you also need the criticism in order to make your product better.
Right.
So I embrace it.
Right.
I think it's just as important as the handshakes and the pats on the back and the congratulations. The criticism is just as important.
No, you're absolutely right. And, I try to make sure I have at least a hater or two, because they are just the best consultants.
Yes.
I mean, to have the criticism and you can course correct. It's like, what do you think about this? And they got to find something wrong with it, right? Thank you. But you said something earlier that I think would help to also answer this. And that is really, when you're in this industry, you have to kind of crush your ego to zero. You have to be a person who says, what is it that this person is saying? What is the takeaway that I could actually implement? In a real way. And then other stuff is like, okay, it's a lot of stuff, honestly, is subjective as well. Remember, it's art.
Yeah.
I
mean, you take what you need and you discard what you don't.
Yeah. So I remember, I was the mentee of one of the greatest filmmakers, Melvin Van Peebles. Yes. And one thing that, he told me, he said, everybody has an opinion. And I thought, but it's important that you know that your work is beautiful. So at the same time as, you're saying I got to have this ego and I have to crush it. Everybody has one, but I have to kind of really listen to what it is. I think also you have to have a position of understanding that not everybody's going to see what you see and feel the way that you want to feel about your art, and sometimes art, like I actually believe, Brian, you're way ahead of your time. Especially when it was the fashion. His fashion, a lot of people don't know, it was three-dimensional. It was like stuff that you're wearing this stuff. So, some people, like I said, were late. I thought I would say Prince, he was ahead of his time. Like, it's just so many just really all the greats really were ahead of their time. They had to have a vision, and it probably wasn't the time. And we live in a capitalist society where everything is about earning and making money right now and then and there. But just be great in knowing what it is that you're producing. That would be my 2 cents to that. But okay, but Dream, you want to go, or you? Because I have a few more questions here.
Oh, I don't have any more questions on my feed.
Okay, so good. I can go. Are there specific projects or clients that you dream of working with in the future, Brian, besides Taiwan? I added that.
I love the independence of independent filmmaking. I think there's so many more stories out there that can be told and need to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really not. I think the aspect of Hollywood and that machine, I think it has its place and it does what it does.
Right.
But I think they miss out on so many more opportunities because there's so many more stories to tell.
Right.
And also Black and brown stories in particular.
Right.
We're not one-dimensional people.
That's right.
And so
that's right.
Not everybody was a slave, not every and so I think and there's so many layers to us as a people. I would love, like, the American Fiction Story. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a prime example of being able to tell a story from a different perspective than what's normally seen. And I'm really interested in stories that haven't been told yet.
Right. And there's so many stories that have not been told. And I tell a lot of people who create, Brian, and one thing you've already done is, like, you just, listen to your voice, because the tendency is, wow, that's successful, so let me copy and do something like that. That was a policy in the music industry, right? There's a hit record, and then you find 20 other artists doing something that was a hit, like that. Follow the leader, so to speak, in terms of what's making money, as opposed to saying, you know what, I really don't really care. That's not going to be my drive per se, the money thing. My drive is telling a story, connecting to that story so that others can connect. I've when we see art, right, there's films that I see a lot of Black people in, and I don't connect to it. And I could tell that this film, although they have Black actors in it, it wasn't really made for me. It was a Black film with Black actors made for other folks. But I could tell, like, to me, that's the difference with, for example, Spike Lee. Spike Lee, most of his movies, not all of them, but most of his movies, like, okay, I could tell this is a person who was making a film and they thought about me, and they thought about my experience and how I might feel sitting and looking at that. Now, this is my question to you. How much, when you're creating or you're putting together your group and team, people together, do you think about the competition, so to speak? Sort of like, Hollywood and this need to make money and make it a viable product versus I'm going to take a risk and I'm just going to tell this story that's way out here that people may not know. Like I've done with this film called I don't know if you saw the film, it's called They Belong to All of Us. It's about a true story about the Benin bronzes, something that people don't know, right? That people wouldn't care about per se, but it's changing the whole conversation about our enslavement and what was the Benin Kingdom's involvement in our slavery and these bronzes. Something that people didn't know, and people were telling me, I don't think people are going to relate to it, and it wins awards. Because it's edgy. How much do you think about as a creative, like at the end of the day, I want to tell this story, but I got to make some money. I got to be able to feed my people.
Well, I think when you believe in the project or product that you're creating, there's an audience for everybody. I think your expectations of what you believe your expectations of what the money should look like, maybe you have to tweak that a little bit based on what you've put into the project. But there's an audience for everybody. I don't look at what other people are doing in that respect because I always think what we're working on as a team is going to be amazing. And because it's amazing, we will find our audience.
Wow.
I think when you're creating something, you don't really have time to look at what other people are doing, especially when you believe in what it is that you're creating.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah. See, what do you call it? The student has become the Jedi Master. That's great. All right, so here's another question. And this person is coming from Ryan D. He says, how do you seek support, financial support for your projects?
I think you have to give people a little something to look at. I mean, you can give them a synopsis, you can give them a script, but a lot of times the written word doesn't translate for people mentally. Like they need to see the movement, they need to see, so if you can create, and again, you don't need a $30,000 camera to create a first look at what it is that you're trying to say.
Right.
It should be cut and edited in a way that is palpable. So when you're asking people for money, it's like, oh, okay, I see it. And with my money, this could be a full realization of this story that he's trying to tell or she's trying to tell,
Right.
And so, yeah, I think you have to always be in preparation and make sure that before you give it to them, that you're satisfied with it. And also know that it might not be the first investor that you go to that is going to give you the money. You may have to go to several investors or in several, or several different situations to present this piece of work that you're trying to create.
Right.
So another thing is to believe in it, leave out the ego. Don't be disheartened if the first group of people turn you down. You know what I mean? Some people have held on to work 20, 30 years before it's recognized or created, and then it blows up.
That's right.
But in those 20 and 30 years, you're creating other stuff as well. Like you're not sitting on this one egg waiting for it to hatch. Like you're creating other eggs.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Now,
like with the, I'm sorry, real quick, like with the auditions, it's like, I've seen kids go to auditions and not get it and are just heartbroken and depressed and all that kind of stuff. And I was glad that when it finally started to happen for me, like when I didn't get the audition, I could go and get something to eat and look for the next audition, as opposed to putting all my eggs into one basket.
Cool. Thank you. Jacqueline wants to know where people can get trailers, how they can connect with you. I didn't realize that it's we only have a few minutes left of the program. But to answer, and I'm going to add on before we get to all the trailer and all that information where people can reach you, is what Melvin would tell me, and it's so key. And I walk with this, and you can apply this to everything. And it's part of an Arthur Ashe quote. It's like a mix between Arthur Ashe and Melvin Van Peebles. It goes, start where you are, because we are all somewhere. We are, even if you're in somebody's basement, you are somewhere, right? Yeah. Right. And this is such an exciting time to be a creative person, because Brian and I can tell you, we couldn't imagine the applications, and the technology is so affordable today. We couldn't even imagine having, an iPhone with the kind of high res or whatever, I used to have to edit literally. And Brian will tell you, I used to do this over at Sleeping Bag. We had to run recordings and cut tape and paste it together physically. Right. Now there's a click and that you could do that. There are things that you can enhance, photographs and all. The technology is just out of this world. You have AI, you have ChatGPT. There is no reason for you not to be creating. So the saying is, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and know that you are enough. So start where you are. We're somewhere. Start where you are. Use what you have, even if you have a phone. And people, there are special, what do you call that? Ceremonies and award shows for people who do things on their phone. I mean, it's all about storytelling, people. So start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. and build community. Part of it is you don't have to take on everything. And Brian will tell you this as a producer. He actually has to be like he has to bring all these people and personality and resources together to create one product. And it's not easy because you have people with diverse backgrounds, diverse levels of skill, and it's a balancing act. And how do you do that? How do you navigate? This is a question. How do you navigate that? And then tell us where we can check out some of your work.
I think it's a culmination of all of the life experiences. And at some point, you kind of just decide not to invest yourself in the craziness of the situation. It's like when I was younger, I would pop off, I would quit, I would walk out, I would, all kinds of stuff. It's more important about what it is that you're trying to achieve. And so because when you're in that mindset, a lot of times you can forego all the drama of a situation because people are going to be peopling, you know what I mean? And some people don't want to see you succeed. Some people have already created what they think you are or who they think you are in their heads, and they just go with that. So it's like you're never going to be able to say anything or do anything that's going to change their minds. And so it's a losing battle, and not every battle you have to fight.
Right.
So,
you don't have to attend every fight that you're invited to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so our short film Cuffed, which is the Cannes winner, is you can see that for free on YouTube. That should be going to a streaming service at some point. I just don't know off the top of my head at the moment. And we just released the trailer for Toxic, which I said it's having that premiere on June 8th. So I don't really have any further information at the moment. But after the premiere, we'll have it, and I can send you that information then. Or
yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, folks, just you got to stay tuned to GoProRadio.com. We're going to be updating, the page, and we'll add that information onto our website for you, Brian, just to make sure we get the word out. And then we'd love to invite you back. Hey, look, I want you to know that you always have a place. And by the way, if you ever become, what do you call that, unhoused, you will never be homeless, because as long as I have a home, you have a home. And I mean that, so you can take that worry right on off of your mind in the front and the back or forward. You always got a place. Ladies, it's been my pleasure to have with us Briian Dargon. He is a consummate professional creative. I think if you're just fortunate to know him, your life is going to be made better by making an association with him. I know that for a fact. Stay tuned and just look him up. Is there by the way, email or website if somebody want to contact you directly? We'll try to put that in the chat if people want to reach out. If you're an emerging talent, you're an emerging actor, director, you just have an interest in the film business and you want to help out, and you're in the Atlanta area, or not Atlanta, I'm sorry, Virginia area, you definitely want to connect with Brian, because this industry is very complex. It's not easy. There's a lot of folks who aren't real or authentic, or looking to take advantage. You want somebody who really knows their craft and could really help and guide you and shape you into being successful. Because this industry, like I tell you, is nothing like it. When people say, they want to get into the entertainment business, I say, are you insane? Do you have what kind of medicine are you? What kind of meds are you taking? But the reality is, you need to be around people who are walking in the same direction. You have to, in a sense, find your tribe. And if you can't find your tribe, create one. I mean, this is a great, big, beautiful world, and you can really pull a lot of talented people together in your block, in your church, in your community, whatever group, in your school. If your school don't have a program, start one. Don't wait for other people to give you consent and permission to be your bold, creative, and beautiful selves. This is going to pretty much wrap it up for me. Dream, do you have any comments? And then we'll let Brian wrap it up. We do this. We let the guests kind of wrap up the show and give their final thoughts. But before we do that, Dream, do you have any closing remarks? Oh, you're muted. I think you.
Oh, I said, no, I'm just blown away by the resume.
Yeah. Well, just once again, I thank you. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank Jacqueline Banner, who's been a tremendous help today. I was crazy. I was running late because I had to go to even get this today. All right. I had to get some work done. I went to the salon for them to put some gold things on my face for $80. Anyway, I want to say hello to Kathleen Blanco, Venus, Sharon Tolliver. Thank you for being here. She didn't speak too much. Oh, we're gonna push their business. Are you guys gonna advertise on, with the GoPro Radio Network? We got to reach out so we can blow up your business, and please partner with us. The People's Advocacy Group, Sonny B. Sutherland, Lanice. Did I say that right, Miss Caldwell? Just give me a nod up. Is it Leonice? Yeah, Leonice. Thank you. Lanice Caldwell, thank you so much, and I'm sorry if I trashed your name. I won't do it again. And of course, my partner here in crime, Dream, thank you for being here. Folks, don't forget to tune in to tomorrow. We have the Colored Only Cafe, where the conversation is always hot, black, and strong. And I do that with Dr. Ron Christopher Osborne Williams. He's going to be in the house tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about reparations. Also on Thursday, Sonny, who's here, he has a show called I Ain't Having It, and it's from 10 to midnight, and it's going to be a raucous, good time. He's very opinionated. He's a Trump supporter, so everybody always gangs up on him, and so he's just like fighting with Trump, and we're like, how good you're insane. But it's a lot of fun. We get down and dirty, but it's just entertainment, people. Don't take it personal. And then also on Friday, we have Deshaun Farad with Expressions in Blackness. And then on Saturday, guys, I put on my DJ helmet as Super Tie along with Sonny B, and we do a mix show from 9 p.m. to 3 in the morning. So he takes like the first, 3 hours or whatever, and I take the other 3 hours. And this Saturday, we have a very special guest. It's going to be Sonny B. Sutherland Jr. That's right. He's having a legacy. He's passing the baton to his son, who is going to join us in DJing. So you're going to get a sense of his music, his taste. And man, we bringing back traditional radio, and I do a lot of crazy remixes and sound effects and stuff like that. So it's a really good time. If you just like music, some people actually have told me that they've gotten up out of bed and start cleaning up when they start listening to me DJ and playing music. So that's good. Me right now, I'm at the age where I'm just nod my head and do all the dancing with my face. But folks, if you want to just listen to something really, really great, positive music, join us Saturday night for the GoPro Radio Party Zone. And that, once again, is from 9 to 3 a.m. in the morning. You can log in at any time. You don't have to be there for the whole 6 hours. If you're doing a party, right, and you have no DJ, he doesn't show up, just go to GoProRadio.com and play our music. And I'm telling you, people are going to have a really great time with really, really good music. All right, so Brian, take us away. Take us out of here.
I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in to the show. This was a fantastic opportunity for me. I really appreciate it. Years and years and years of love. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Dream McFly, for having me as a guest on the show. And I'm wishing everybody well and peace and love, everyone.
All right, guys. By the way, this show is archived. You could see it tomorrow or hear it on the GoPro Radio website. We are a 24/7 station. You can also download content absolutely free. We don't ask you for your credit card or any of that foolishness. We don't ask you for your email. If you want to, you can leave your email at info@goproradio.com. Once again, this show has been provided by the GoPro Radio Network. And we want to thank our sponsors, Pillow Max, Autodesk, and also the GoPro Radio Network. All right, folks? If you're interested, too, in being a part of this movement, let us know. Also at info@goproradio.com. And I'm going to leave with those powerful words of Melvin Van Peebles, my mentor, the late and great, and that is, start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can and know that you are enough. You got to keep on keeping on in this business. Love each other. We all that we got. And guess what? We're enough. Until next time. Peace.
Oh, man, he's cooking.